Emma's story begins in the quiet shadows of hardship, in a world where every day was a new test of endurance. Born into poverty, she was no stranger to the sting of deprivation or the relentless ache of want. Her earliest memories are painted with images of a small, cluttered apartment and the gentle, worried face of her mother, who did her best to hold their fragile world together. When Emma was just a child, her father walked out, leaving behind a void that would echo through the years. With her mother battling a chronic illness, Emma learned what it meant to sacrifice, to shoulder responsibilities that most children her age would never imagine. At a time when most girls were absorbed in the magic of childhood, Emma was learning the value of $1, the weight of a promise, and the power of resilience. School, for many, was a haven, a place to laugh, learn, and grow. For Emma, it was another battlefield. Her classmates noticed her secondhand clothes and the way she never brought the latest toys or gadgets. Their words stung, and their laughter lingered long after the bell had rung. But Emma learned to swallow her tears, to mask vulnerability with quiet determination. Instead of afternoons spent playing, Emma took on whatever work she could find. She babysat for neighbors, cleaned houses, and delivered newspapers before dawn. Each small job was a lifeline, a way to put food on the table and medicine in the cabinet. There were nights when exhaustion pressed down on her like a heavy blanket, threatening to snuff out the last flickers of hope. But deep inside, she held tight to a conviction. Life could challenge her, but it would never break her. This inner strength carried Emma through the years, guiding her as she fought her way to university. By her final year, she had achieved what once seemed impossible. Despite the weight of responsibility, despite the long nights and endless worries, she was on the brink of graduation. Her grades were excellent, and for the first time, she allowed herself to imagine a future not defined by struggle. But life, with its unpredictable tides, had one more test in store. In her final year, tragedy struck. Her mother passed away, leaving Emma adrift in a sea of grief. The loss was immeasurable. The one person who had been her anchor, her confidant, was gone. In the weeks that followed, Emma found herself lost. The world felt cold and unyielding. Simple tasks became insurmountable. She questioned everything: her dreams, her worth, her ability to go on. Yet, in the quiet of her grieving, sitting by her mother's old chair, Emma made a promise through tears. She would live strong, so her mother could be proud of her. That promise became her guiding star, the fire that would see her through the darkest moments. With renewed determination, Emma returned to her studies. She poured her pain into her work, channeling her emotions into every assignment, every exam. The obstacles that once seemed insurmountable became stepping stones. She graduated with honors, not just for herself, but as a tribute to her mother's memory. In the months that followed, Emma felt a pull to share her story. She began speaking at local community centers, telling her truth to small groups of people who, like her, knew what it meant to struggle. At first, the crowds were sparse, and Emma's hands trembled as she spoke. But her words were raw, authentic, and filled with hope. Slowly, her audience grew. People saw themselves in her story, and her message resonated. Strength isn't about never falling. It's about standing back up every time you do. Emma's honesty became her greatest asset. She never hid her scars. She wore them as proof that wounds could heal and that brokenness could be transformed into beauty. People connected with her not because she was perfect, but because she was real. She spoke of nights spent hungry and days filled with doubt. She spoke of the pain of loss and of the courage it took to keep moving forward when every cell in her body wanted to give up. As her reputation grew, Emma began traveling across the country, sharing her story with students, workers, and anyone facing hardship. Her words became a lifeline for those on the brink of surrender. She taught that strength does not mean never crying. It means that even after the tears have fallen, you find a way to keep going. She reminded her listeners that every person carries burdens unseen, and that empathy and kindness can be the difference between despair and hope. Emma's story is a testament to the human spirit's capacity for resilience. She shows us that strength is not the absence of pain, but the courage to continue despite it. Life will always bring challenges: poverty, loss, heartbreak, failure. But within each of us lies the power to choose how we respond. We can let hardship destroy us, or we can allow it to shape us into something stronger, wiser, and more compassionate. Her journey teaches us that no matter how dark the night, there is always a sunrise waiting for those who don't give up. The scars we carry do not define us. Rather, they remind us of our capacity to heal and to grow. Emma's life is proof that struggles can be transformed into stepping stones and pain into purpose. So, the next time life knocks you down, remember Emma's words. You may bend, but you will not break. In every trial, there is a lesson. In every loss, a chance for new beginnings. And in every heart, the unbreakable spark of resilience.